Hey, this is Bill Chris back in the Coach's Cave, and today I'd like to talk to you about something that's extremely taboo. That's right, if you're thinking about mixing outside zone and gap trap offense into your scheme, you'd be right. Wise men have said that you can't do it, it can't be mixed. And in theory, I agree with them. That didn't stop me from doing it anyway. But I did agree, and I did think a lot about why and how those two don't mix. I mean, it's hard, especially this high school level. Um, where a lot of times kids don't do one thing well, it's really hard to expect them to do two things well. So getting down into why zone and gap don't mesh, to me it seemed to be because it's two different blocking techniques. Modern blocking schemes is all hands. You know, every go to a clinic, everyone's talking about hands blocking for offensive linemen. Nothing wrong with hand. I'm not anti-hands blocking. Depending where you're at, where I was at when we were doing, I'm a shoulder blocking guy. And I think that's where outside zone and shoulder gap trap blocking didn't mix well. Was you're changing two different blocking styles that are very different. You have to drill hands blocking quite a bit, and shoulder blocking requires a lot of technique that's different. So thinking about that, I thought, well, what if I could outside zone without changing my blocking technique? And maybe that's the crux. And as it turned out, for us, it worked. You know, if you run a gap trap offense, you run a lot of buck sweep, you're pulling guys, you know, you do run into the problem where, you know, they start blitzing, they start attacking vacated guard spots, okay, and you're getting some plays blown up. It's hard for kids to fill all the time, and they're keying your guards, they're keying your traps, and jumping your sweeps. So that was one of the reasons I thought, well, if we had that problem, and what if we didn't pull our guards as a changeup, as a key breaker? We could still get outside. And that's why we started entertaining outside zone, not because it was a fad that we wanted to talk about. It was a key breaker for us. And what if we didn't have to change our blocking technique tremendously? We stayed with our short. We have to be short blocking teams. We usually have undersized linemen. Okay, we're a small school. Our kids usually physically mismatch line of scrimmage. We have some studs, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's more common for us to have someone on the line that's going to be outmatched physically. So shoulder blocking gives them a chance against just about anybody if they do it well. And we always emphasize with our kids, we don't use the word blocking, so they don't gap block, they don't trap block, they don't zone block. All our kids do is hit and fit. And I use the word blocking once in a while in practice and stuff, but just to be short. But we emphasize that on every play, you're not blocking a soul, you're hitting, fitting, okay? Your assignment. So with that, we really meshed gap offense and zone blocking without losing anything, I guess, without sacrificing anything, without trying to do two different things and one of them not being well or both of them not being well. It's usually how it works out. So how do we go about it? Well, we shoulder blocked our outside zone. So we call it outside zone. Our footwork was the same. And at EDDs, okay, we lined up. Of course, we did our gap blocking. We did drive block. You know, we did reach block. We did down block. And then I called it stretch block. Our outside zone was a stretch block. So I didn't even put the word zone in their head. Because, you know, they hear stuff. They watch football. Their parents talk, you know. I didn't want the word zone really even been in their vernacular. So we called it a stretch block. Okay, and their footwork was just slightly different it was very similar to a down block, just now we're going play side. Okay, and then he's taking a big toe, pinky toe, 6-inch step laterally down the line of scrimmage, hips stay down towards the goal line, second foot trying to hit the crotch of the defensive lineman, third foot upfield. Target point, okay, I'm getting across his face, and my far eye is striking his far number. Okay, hands up inside his inside chest plate, reaching across, hips into him, and driving vertically. Backside guy, what we're trying to do is we're working double teams. Our outside zone was just maybe more like duo. Okay, so we're emphasizing double teams because we can't have moving laterally undersized guys. And one of the weaknesses is if I go move laterally into a big stud and I don't have any forward momentum, and he gets on my back shoulder, okay, that's a weak spot. You could get run over. So we emphasize double teams at the point of attack to the side that the ball is going. So the backside guy has to come across, similar footwork. He's striking, trying to get head, center chest plate, second foot outside, third foot taking over for the other offensive lineman, the covering offensive lineman, bumping him out of the way, reaching across that defender and taking over the block. The first offensive lineman, the covered lineman, now is climbing the linebacker. So all we did was we tuned up a double team. So instead of just taking a guy in front of us and driving him back away from the ball in the linebacker's lap like a traditional gap double team, we are getting across a guy and double teaming him to get to backer. And we're not even trying to move him. We are trying to move him off line of scrimmage with our shoulders, but we're not trying to put him in a lap. And we're even contingency where if he keeps climbing to the outside, we stay on him as the other guy climbs, and we just stay with him. We run with him. Now we're up. We try to keep our feet, and we'll push him to the sideline. If we get him hooked, we'll try to push him back inside. No matter what happens, we stay with him. And then the running back is attacking the outside heel as he takes the ball. He's attacking the outside heel of the offensive tackle, and then he's reading from there. He's reading the first linebacker. If that linebacker stays inside, he's going outside. If that linebacker runs outside, he's cutting back inside of that tackle or now guard that is still on his double team on the edge. So this is how it looked. The other hard part about going zone blocking is who to block, okay? Remember, we're emphasizing double team. So if I go with one tight end and we see it standard over front, okay, we're presented with this. One of the challenges of outside zone is who do we block, who do we double team, okay? And there's places, where, they'll go closest guy to the A-gaps is 0, and then next guy over, no matter where it's a +1, +2, +3, +4, -1, other side, -2. Yeah, and if that works for you, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. We tried that, and we went away from it, okay? We decided to go. What worked for us was the covered, uncovered principle, okay? So we walk the line of scrimmage. Kids ask themselves when the defense presents itself, when it gets into its structure, am I covered or am I covered? So we went outside zone. Obviously, we're going outside this way or that way. Well, tight end side was king. Weak side away from tight end, away from our power was jack. Okay, so if we're going king this way, if there's a guy on me or outside of me, really even in the gap between me to the play side, I am covered. That is my guy. I have the primary outside zone footwork, stretch footwork, to get across him and feed him to the backside guy. If I'm uncovered, so there's nobody on me in gap to play side, I am uncovered. I am now going to double team with my buddy to the play side and overtake that block. And we would drill that in buckets of 4. So we get an O-line, a defensive lineman, a linebacker. Okay, you're covered, you're uncovered, you're going to reach, you're going to get the backer. We just drill that over and over again. And then we'd go this way, okay? So when they get the line of scrimmage, after reading buckets, it's pretty simple for kids. This guy's outside eye, play side's this way. Okay, this guy's outside. Okay, this guy's inside. Tight ends included in this too. You have to have the tight ends down with the offensive line for this. That's another time where it doesn't work. Sometimes it's hard to ask them pass catchers to block, even if they are tight ends. Unless you're in a gap offense, because in a gap offense, tight ends block, right? So it works this way. So he knows he's covered. This guy's outside eye. Okay, we have 3 covered guys on the line of scrimmage, which means we have 3 uncovered guys on the line of scrimmage. We know the ball's going this way. He's going to reach. He's covered. He's going to get his head on this side of the end. He knows he's going to help the next guy play side. He's going to come over, chest plate, take this over, go to backer. Take your time going to backer. These guys are going to read and scrape. Remember, the reading, our guards are stepping up in here anyway, because this is a change up, right? This isn't, if you're an outside zone spread team, I don't know if you're going to be doing it this way or you'll have this reaction, but we're run heavy, gap trap, so these linebackers are really going to be stepping up, okay? And they're going to come. So this way, maybe a little bit slower, but they're stepping up and sliding. So we're going to get across and work our way to this backer, taking our time, because we'll get into that. You know, you don't want an illegal man downfield when it comes to pass. Run doesn't really matter, of course. Center, he's uncovered. He knows this guy gets help. He's working his way. Okay, he's taking care of this guy. In the backside tackle, he's uncovered. He's helping the backside guard. And we have a guy play side. We've just double teamed 3 linemen and got hats with leverage on 3 linebackers. So 6 guys have just blocked 6 guys. Backside end, we game plan for the backside end. If he's a real stud that we think can blow up our play, really they are, the way we run stuff, which we'll go into in this outside zone, it's hard to make him a threat. We can make sure we have a solo here. This is probably the least important double team block because it's backside A gap. We can leave him solo and have him step cup or go to most dangerous man just to block out this end. But by rule, okay, base rule, he's going to double team. What we're doing on this, our zone play is going to be a version of a jet where he's getting the ball here midline of the A gaps. So if this guy can catch him from backside A gap and he get the ball, he's sprinting this way. You need a faster running back, doesn't matter what scheme your offensive line's running. Okay. The other way we'll run it is direct snap or play action, where we're still, it's hard for backside A gap to blow up this play. Especially, you know, don't leave them unblocked, but when we have leverage, if we're going to get leverage, get our body in there, okay? So this guy's reading and taking off for the outside heel of the offensive tackle. So he's gone from this backside. And that's another reason why this backside guy has a hard time. He can chase and chase and chase, but he's not, shouldn't get there. Okay, the principle works. If you're going jack, it does slightly change up. A lot of times what they'll do is, you know, they'll change their fronts trying to stop you. They'll put, but let's say you're forcing, like they'll put an underfront to the strong side, which really works in your favor. I mean, that's a traditional way to stop the zone, but in this, as you'll see, I have a corner right here. You come back, okay? Now he is covered because now we're going jack, okay? He knows he's going here. He's got a guy backside A gap. We always want to get double teams to the play side. The center is going to go solo. He's more covered. He's play side gap. We have to communicate. Just make sure. That's one of the reasons you got to know. Inside eye, backside eye, which way the ball's going. Center needs to get there. Depending who he is, you can do what's a Philly combo. I got a thing on a Philly combo technique to work. But by rule, okay, we'll just make it simple. He's climbing and take this over so that he can get the backer. The center should be able to handle this front side gap with a stretch block. Okay, backside, we're getting across here. He may not even have to help, okay? He can handle this solo backside. He can go right to backer. Tight end can race, usually by splits too, get this guy away. Like I said, backside has a hard time chasing. He can go to backer. So now we have a double team play side, and we're racing the backer. If your outside zone power side is working against the even front, a lot of times they'll come out. It'll give you an under front, trying to screw up your assignment. Okay, they might kind of give you something like this. We'll make it 4-4-4. Okay, we come to line of scrimmage. We're going to go power here. We call it king is our power side. Jack is, we're letting them know we're running to the weak side. So here he's covered. he's covered, but it's in space. We'll get into that. He's backside. Okay. He's in the gap, play side. So the center is covered. Okay. He's shaded backside. He's covered. Okay. So we know, but he's covered. He's uncovered. I'm sorry. He's covered. He's shaded. It is play side. So we know we want to get a double team here. Go to backer. Double team. Go to backer. Here, this got to be worth the salt. We can have solos to play side, but this is your best player. Okay, he needs to get across his face and just run with him. If the guy jumps out, he rides him out. If he gets across the guy, he tries to hook him back in. You're losing a double team to the edge, and that's one of the reasons they do it. But we also usually have a fullback on here or a sniffer. And that guy's job is to help read this tight end. Okay, so if this linebacker jumps outside, the tight end, the one back takes him over. If the end jumps inside the tight end, okay, he stays with him. He rolls out here to seal off against backer. So you have that fullback in the package as insurance. It really helps you get the edge. Against odd front, reads are pretty standard. So we have Sam, a joker. Strong safety is going to be off the ball. But we have covered, 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 covered. Uncovered, uncovered. We have a sniffer fullback who's uncovered, obviously. So right now on this side, he's climbing solo. He's uncovered. He's worked his way. This is a king call. He's worked his way to the king for the double team. Double team. Backer. Uncovered. Double team. Backer. Reaches at Sam. Back helps out. He's either, we have him whipped, he's going to the strong safety. And the same thing, if he slices inside, he goes to strong safety. Back's reading, bouncing. Okay. If this Sam screams outside, tight end goes with him. He can go to backer. One back, fullback takes over. You're getting this guy in space, reading. He's going to have one of three gaps, reading off the position of the Sam, the edges block, and the first linebacker inside. If you're going to jack call against odd front, sometimes you can't control where the defense is going to line up, what they're going to do that play, but the rules are still the same. Okay, and we do have a problem here because he's almost double covered, and you got to give a contingency for it. He's got a guy head up, and he's got a jack play side gap. Okay, you're gonna need a wing or a fullback taking care of it, but he's gonna have to call out. You know, he's got an issue here. He's gonna need a solo. He's gonna have to reach this jack. If he gets it, you're off to the races here. We get a double team here, going to this. Okay, he can, being this far away from the ball, he can race right to linebacker, strong safety. And this is the catch right here, is understanding you're going to have two solos. Once again, if you have a fullback coming this way or scraping across, you get help on that edge. But they have to understand here, even he's covered. This is a scenario, it might take a little bit extra time, or just don't run it weak side against the odd front, game plan against it. But he's got a guy play side unblocked. Okay, he's basically double covered. He has to call for two solos. He has to make a solo call to that backside guard. Okay, as we mentioned, one of the ways it's really helped us with this and helped us drill it is this is a big way we run our pass protection. Okay, so, I mean, it becomes more like a duo block and then RPO blocking, true RPO blocking, which is okay because it gives you time. Duo blocking's for running basically RPO downfield receivers, for downfield field receivers. We got to be careful of not getting an illegal man downfield penalty. By rule in the rule book, you get 2.5 yards. What we do often, especially with new refs coming in that we don't know, they might not know us. Hey, we run some zone blocking schemes. I don't like to use the word with my kids, zone blocking, but you know, when you talk to the refs, you might want to real quick explain zone blocking we run and how what are you guys looking at? What are you seeing where you're from? And you know, we've heard everything from they can go over the umpire. Generally, you know, by book it's 2.5 yards. They'll give you 3. Okay. And if the kids take their time, okay, they shouldn't get to the 3 because the linebackers will be coming to them. Okay, but we'll run our pass protection full slide. All of our play action is full slide, either jack or king. So now we're releasing this tight end usually, right? He's going somewhere. So we'll have a solo tackle. Okay, we're running action out of the backfield. We're rolling. Usually a wing is going to do something here. I'm just coming up with some generic pass stuff here. We still run uncovered principle, okay? He's uncovered. He's looking play side. Okay, he's covered. He's going to hook him. He's going to hook him. He's uncovered. He's going to look to double team. Work our way up the back. This backer comes up and tries to, oops, it's run. Okay, we're not going way downfield, but we're going to shield this linebacker off, okay? And usually if you have 3, he generally has 3 vertical. He relates to 3. So if you have a back coming out of the backfield, okay, he's going to have a hard time if he comes up here to blitz, reading gap scheme, expect him run. If you have good action and you get a double team to this linebacker, okay, you've just freed up your number 3. Either if he's going to the flat or particularly if he's going vertical. This backside here, he's got to understand he's in pass protection and this is a pass rusher. So he's going to step and hook curl right here and wall this guy off. The action is still going away from him, but of course he cannot go and double team and leave this guy unattended on the end on a pass. So there's a way you can convert a gap trap offense into some zone principles in your game. You know, as a change up, as a key breaker in your buck sweep type plays, your pull and trap plays, and you can use it for pass protection. Okay, use a jack king. Understand double teams. Who's covered, who's undercovered. Have your linemen have to communicate, which they have to in a gap scheme anyway. And I do believe if you run outside zone, you can run some gap schemes. I mean, you come back, insert and stuff like the inside zone. There's a lot of gap principles. If you shoulder block, I think these things become a lot easier. If you don't ask the kids to go from shoulder blocking to hands blocking, they don't understand it. And a lot of times people think outside zone is a passive type of, you've seen that. I think that's changed a lot, especially in colleges. Actually, you see colleges coming back to using shoulders and flippers, a lot of stuff on their zone theories. So I think that is the difference. So I think a lot of times zone teams got in trouble because they thought it was a way to be passive aggressive with the offensive line where they didn't really have to hit and they were just kind of influencing defenders. And I don't think that works. I mean, if you got some really skilled athletic linemen and really skilled backfield, I think that can work. But I think for an offensive line to really be successful, no matter what they're in, they have to be able to hit and move people aggressively, not be passive aggressive. So I think if you use your shoulders, no matter what you're doing, or use your, I don't know if you can really hands block a gap scheme effectively, but you could shoulder block almost anything. And here's an example where we were pretty successful shoulder blocking a zone technique, just understanding the cover and undercover principle and who to double team and how to leverage and get the backer off that. And we drilled it every day, and we were able to mix by making it the same. 2 different concepts. So I hope that helps you. I hope you find that interesting. I hope you can implement it and maybe beat somebody you weren't supposed to. Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.